Hello and welcome back to Man v Film. I have got another fantastic list of 10 movies for you to check out this July. Hopefully you'll find something that makes you a little bit curious or something that you didn't realise was on this service that you can check out. As always, this might not be the pinnacle of filmmaking entries, but it's some fun movies that I just want to recommend. Let's get started. Number 10, Skyscraper. FBI hostage rescue team leader and US war veteran Will Sawyer now assesses security for skyscrapers. On assignment in Hong Kong, he finds the tallest, safest building in the world suddenly ablaze, and he's been framed for it. A wanted man on the run, Will must find those responsible, clear his name, and somehow rescue his family, who are trapped inside the building above the fire line. Skyscraper may not be the most original of plots that you've ever seen before. It may have contrivances that you can see coming a mile away, but it's got The Rock. He's in super charming mode as well as kick-ass mode. It has some spectacular action set pieces. Sure, sometimes it doesn't make a lick of sense, but sometimes you just want a popcorn movie where you can sit down, see some cool one-liners, see the bad guy get bested by a super charismatic hero. And that's what you get with Skyscraper. Number 9, Line of Duty. Frank Penny is a disgraced cop looking for a shot at redemption after killing a child abductor. With the police chief's daughter's life on the line, Frank goes rogue to try and save her. But to find the girl, Frank will need help of a vlogger, Ava Brooks, whose live streaming news channel is broadcasting Frank's every move while a city watches. Frank and Ava race against time, and not only do they have to face every daring obstacle, but also the abductor's brother, who is out for revenge. Line of Fire is remarkably fun, and I do say remarkable because there is so many things going against it. The incredulous plot, things that just don't make sense. This cop teaming up with this vlogger, it baffles the mind, but the movie distracts you by having this ridiculous pace that just continues all the way through the movie. It's non-stop. There is barely a moment to breathe while watching this action spectacular, and the action is increasingly fantastic, wild, different, varied. It has everything you could want, and it's really well staged and shot. Once you get by those kind of crazy plot points that, to be honest, don't really make much of a difference in this action spectacular, you get drawn into this tale and it's just a fun ride to watch unfold. Number 8, Wishmaster. The Jinn is a mischievous monster who can fulfill any wishes, but in a horrible way. He was captured into an opal in 12th century and hidden inside an antique statue. When the statue is damaged in 1997 during transportation to Los Angeles, the Jinn escapes and takes human form. Young gemologist Alexander Amberson has to take a stand against him. Robert Kurtzman directs this one, and he is a huge name in special effects, and he makes that show here. There is wonderful set pieces in here, bloody, gory, with practical effects that are just wondrous. You get Androv Devov as the Jinn, who gives a fantastic performance in this late 90s slasher fest that spawned 3 sequels after this movie. It is incredibly fun watching the Jinn take these people's wishes and basically turning it against them in wonderfully creative and violent manners. I've got a soft spot for Wishmaster, but it may not be for everybody. Number 7, No Escape. A couple and their 2 daughters relocate to Asia, only to find themselves caught in the middle of a dangerous coup. Realising that foreigners are being murdered on the spot, they make a desperate decision to escape the violence on the streets and seek refuge at the American embassy, all while trying to avoid detection by the merciless rebels. No Escape is one of those movies that was released and just faded into the ether. Nobody really talks about it, which is a real shame because it is an edge of the seat thrill ride, a proper nail biter of every fashion. This movie takes no time in kicking into this revolution that happens, and then our lead characters are just on the run against the odds of these almost faceless killers who just haphazardly kill anybody who's not from that country in a brutal and natural kind of fashion. It's not overly glamorized violence, it is more horrifying than that. It feels real. You get wonderful performances by the lead characters, and you get a ridiculously entertaining story that's just part thriller, part horror in the way it's going on. I really do suggest checking this one out. Number 6, The Big Lebowski. When the dude Lebowski is mistaken for a millionaire Lebowski, two thugs urinate in his rug to coerce him into paying a debt he knows nothing about. While attempting to gain recompense for the ruined rug from his wealthy counterpart, he accepts a one-time job with a high payoff. He enlists the help of his bowling buddy Walter, a gun-toting Jewish convert with anger issues. Deception leads to more trouble, and soon it seems that everyone from porn empire tycoons to nihilists wants something from the dude. I always like to throw on a big title onto my lists, and The Big Lebowski is wonderful. It's one of the Coen's best movies, and I think it's one that is definitely the most rewatched within my collection. I love Jeff Bridges' iconic character of the dude, and there is more iconic characters filled within his whole laxed kind of laid back stoner that just wants to ease through life is a wonderful idea for a detective movie. And it's quite good to see that even though the movie has all these different characters from getting from A to B, the dude sees through all the crap almost immediately. If you watch the movie, he nails everything right at the start. He knows exactly what's going on, even in his state. Wonderfully funny, great characters, and just an immense film. Number 5, Nausicca of the Valley of the Wind. An animated fantasy adventure set 1,000 years from now. The earth is ravaged by pollution and war. In the Valley of the Wind lives Nausicca, princess of her people. Their land borders on a toxic jungle filled with dangerous, oversized insects. Meanwhile, two nearby nations are bitterly engaged in a war, and the Valley of the Wind is stuck in the middle. I do like dystopian future stories, and I really like the idea behind this one, where Earth has been ravished because of, well, mankind, and now nature has taken its turn and has become the more powerful force and is using its ability to kind of wipe out the humans because, well, the humans just want to fight. They just want to tear each other down, as we see in these two warring factions. And we get this wonderful character of Nausicaa at the start, who is one with nature and animals, who connects with them unlike any other character within the movie. And you really see her affinity for this world and how that is a possible new bright future to lead into this. Wonderfully animated with some great visceral images, great characters. Both get it in the original language or you get a star-studded dubbed version. Either or is fine, they're both pretty good depending on your preference. And it's just a really engrossing movie if you're willing to give it a chance. Number 4, Freaks. A 7-year-old girl, Chloe, who lives with her father, is told that the outside world is dangerous and is spending lonely days in her house. One day, she leaves the house while her father is asleep, and she is approached by an old man in an ice cream truck who claims to be her grandfather and tells her that Chloe's mother is alive and being held somewhere else. Freaks is a really fun movie, and it's one that I can't really say too much about because I feel you need to go into it knowing as little as possible, and that synopsis kind of truncates the first maybe 10-15 minutes of this story. It leads into something that was truly unexpected and truly fun to discover along the way, which is why I don't want to waste any of it for you. Great characters, great performances from Bruce Dern and Emile Hirst. There's an interesting idea behind this whole thing, and it is just wonderfully executed. You need to see this one. Number 3, VFW. A typical night for veterans at the VFW turns into an all-out battle for survival when a desperate teen runs into the bar with a bag of stolen drugs. When the gang of violent punks come looking for her, the vets use every weapon at their disposal to protect the girl and themselves from an unrelenting attack. This almost feels like a remake of Assault on Precinct 13. It has the typical Carpenter music. It has a wonderful cast of aging action stars from the 80s, and it is ridiculously violent as this onslaught just takes hold of this place and people come to meet their death by these grizzled army veterans. It is incredibly fun, well shot, pulpy and genre specific with a really quick runtime, and if you're a fan of Carpenter's stuff or the Assault on Precinct 13 movie, both that and the remake, this is going to be something you'll find rather entertaining. Number 2, Your Name. Mishua is the daughter of a mayor of a small mountain town. She's a straightforward high school girl who lives with her sister and her grandmother. She dreams of leaving the border town and trying her luck in Tokyo. Taki is a high school boy in Tokyo who works part-time in a restaurant and aspires to become an architect or an artist. Every night he has a strange dream where he becomes a high school girl in a small mountain town. This is a body switching movie that just takes that trope and runs with it in a weird fashion. You have these two opposing characters who every now and again just seem to swap bodies into place, but they take it in their stride. They take it as a chance to really try out this new community, try out this new lifestyle, and they leave notes for each other letting them know what they have to do that day, how they have to sort of prepare themselves into that person's life. And it's wonderfully affecting, and there's a moment later on in this movie where it just truly grabs hold of you. It seems like a fun, almost romantic comedy type of setup, and it changes into something far more wonderful and just deeply affecting. Your Name is one of the best animated movies I've ever seen, but don't let that put you off. This is as emotionally rich as any other film I could recommend. Number 1, The Five Bloods. The story of 4 African American vets, Paul, Otis, Eddie and Melvin, who returned to Vietnam searching for the remains of their fallen squad leader and the promise of buried treasure. Our heroes, joined by Paul's concerned son, battle forces of man and nature while confronted by the lasting ravages of the immortality of the Vietnam War. Spike Lee delivers the movie that is impeccably timed. It's something that we needed just now, and it tackles both the lasting effect of war on these people as well as the constant war of civil rights, and it has the effects of not just the black Americans fighting in the Vietnam War, but on the Vietnamese people and how they were treated along the lines of the war as well by the Americans, and how everybody was just subjugated. But it's wrapped within this really novel war movie that has flashbacks that are wonderfully staged, where they use the old actors as their young selves without any CGI, or that's just who they are. It has these wonderfully kind of pulpy thriller elements of shootouts that look over dramatic and very movie-ish about them, but they're stunning to watch, and it's wrapped within this thematic that's extremely rich and pertinent today. You get Delroy Lindo giving what can only be announced as the best performance of 2020 so far, as a character who's deeply affected by this war and the way he sees himself perceived. And this is just a wonderful movie. It's action-packed, it's got great characters, it's got rich thematics at the heart of it, it's wonderfully filmed and edited and put together, and it's a highlight that I had to make my number 1 this month. I hope you check it out, and I hope you like it. So there we have it, 10 movies for you to check out this month, and I hope you find something there that makes you want to go and check it out, to discover a movie that you might not have known was on there. If you have any recommendations, something you think should have been on my list, or something I have egregiously missed out, let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.